For myself, I think part of it was, of course, the pandemic leading to my international work coming to an end, coming back to Canada. We were working remotely for about a year or so before I entered the RPL campaign. And the big push for me was sort of my natural career trajectory. So I'd spent about 4 years working in the nonprofit sector as a program officer. So we had a team of about 15 that I was leading, working one-on-one with refugees across Europe to help them with that integration process. And for myself, I got to a point where I was doing a lot of work in the nonprofit world dealing with policy issues, but the challenge was, of course, in the nonprofit world, you do everything from A to Z, from administrative work to HR work to policy development. So for me, I really wanted to take a look at larger scale programming. So how can we influence and guide programs strategically that will then end up benefiting people on the ground, clients, beneficiaries? So it was really about developing that skill set. I found that even in conversations with my old boss was that, that's the next step for you to take is you've got great on the ground experience, but now let's use, your academic background, let's use that integrity that you have and then push it forward to say, okay, this is how you formulate policy and this is how you can maybe do it on a large scale, especially with the public service. Definitely. I think for me, I'm very fortunate because my specialty was migration, and now I've ended up with IRCC, so Immigration, Refugee, and Citizenship Canada. So it's a perfect fit where it really does marry my interests from the nonprofit world and, of course, academia all into one. I think I was really lucky to find that out early in life that, immigration is my thing. It's something that keeps you going. My mom actually came as a refugee from Uganda in the 1970s. So it's been something really close to my heart that, that generosity and everything she experienced in Canada was something I really wanted to pay forward. So working with the public service right now, working with IRCC has been a really good transition and quite smooth for the most part. My colleagues have been really kind, really, really helpful in terms of understanding, the beast that is the public service. I think that's been really interesting. And even as an outsider working in the nonprofit world with IRCC quite often, I had an idea that IRCC was large and had quite a few moving pieces, but now that I'm a part of it, I realize that it's much bigger than I had anticipated, but in a good way. I think there's a lot of really good work that's taking place, but now I guess the big transition for me was that I sat in a position where we were advocating on behalf of clients, of beneficiaries, and we were fighting with government bureaucracy for a very long time, especially with things like asylum cases, getting refugee status, accessing state services. And so it's kind of nice to be on the other side, to understand, why things take a little bit longer, why these policies have to be so detailed and strict, because there are many moments where you can see programs could be taken advantage of, or you could really see where programs are trying to funnel funding into the right services. So while a client may not be eligible for the service you're applying for, they're certainly eligible for another. So it's just about navigating that system and understanding why this happens, because it is certain pools of funding, hitting budget requirements, and of course, being accountable to taxpayers, being accountable to, the public, that they can't just implement these things really, really quickly, because a lot of thought has to go into it. A lot of legislative authorities need to be done. A lot of legal frameworks need to be adhered to. Mm-hmm. So for me, that transition of the fact that we get to spend a little bit more time thinking, which I do really, really like, especially from an academic background where, when I started, we went from a world of just thinking and writing to on the ground nonprofit world where things were moving very, very quickly. And now I'd say I'm kind of in that happy medium where you do have taskings that come down rather quickly, but you still have quite a bit of time to engage with the academic literature, engage with best practice, and really come together with your colleagues and put something together that's quite strong, that has a good foundation, and you can kind of take a step back and say, this is something that we're proud of, that we put together that can make sense. And of course, we can always revisit it over time. The piece of advice I would say is don't be shy to apply. I think for a long time, even myself, I was hesitant. I thought for some reason, I thought you were time barred. So once you had finished your advanced degree, you only could apply within 2 years or 3 years of graduating. That's not true. You can apply at any stage in your career. It's a great opportunity to come into the public service at a pretty good position. Like you are in, the policy stream, which, EC 5 to 7 range, and it is pretty much a coveted position in the government. And a lot of talent is developed in this pool. So one of the things you'll find is that management is really keen to help you excel. And same with the RPL community. It's like a beautiful community. I can't believe how many emails I've received already just from complete strangers saying, welcome to the program. We saw your name in the newsletter, and, congratulations on your position. Let's have a chat. Let's help you think through, what you might be best suited for, what your next horizons might be, in 5-10 years down the road. So I think that was really nice. But yeah, my advice is definitely don't be shy, put your best foot forward, apply. And if you're unsuccessful, I was unsuccessful the first time I applied, apply again. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. The only thing that's going to happen over time is you'll get better experience, and you'll be more prepared for the process. So definitely don't be shy, apply, give it your best shot, and apply again if you're unsuccessful. I think that really, really helped.